everybody, Ira Schofitter, Gas Stove Creative. So one of the emails that I got, and I think this is a really, really good question, is how do service-based businesses stay relevant? It's a really good question. A lot of people think that it's like trends. Hey, you know, I know the latest trends. I know what's going on with AI. I know, blah, 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 right? And it's really not that. I kind of wrote a couple of things down, so I'm going to read today. Today I'm going to read to you. But I want to be really clear on this because I think it's a really good question. And I think that it's an important question because we want to stay relevant, right? Like we want to really, matter in 4 years and 5 years and, whatever. So the first thing I think is you really need to stay clear on who you serve and the outcome that you deliver. I mean, that to me is number one, right? You need to be clear on your market and that outcome. That's number one. And then evolve your messaging as the client needs and languages change. So there's so many different lingo, like there was SEO and AEO and, GEO, and then, all of these other acronyms. And depending on what the vertical is, if it's trades, if it's coaching, if it's whatever, it's making sure that, the messaging on their website, on whatever it is that you're, providing changes along with the current trend. And then again, show up where your people are, show up where people are going to decide who they're looking for. You always need to be where your audience is. I think that's one of the best ways to stay relevant is always being where they are. So at any given moment that they need you, you're there. They don't have to go searching for you. They already know that you're there. They've seen you probably ad nauseum, right? And then you want to build trust through clarity, consistency, and systems. And I know one of my coaches watching this now going, yes, systems, but it's true. You really need to be clear and you really need to be consistent. And getting those systems in place is really important. That was one of the biggest things that we worked on last year. And we're still working on tightening everything up. And it's a process. It's, it takes a while. Things don't just happen like that. You have to have, the right asses in the right seats. You have to, have the right systems in place so that things run smoothly. Things don't just happen, right? There's things that make things happen. So you need that. And then I think at the end of the day, it's really just keep up on what's going on. If you're working with people in the trades, stay up on, the latest thing that's happening in the trades. If you're working with, business coaches, stay up on the latest thing that's happening with coaches. And coaching is a little different because there's so many different kinds of coaching. There's leadership and executive and personal. And, so that's a little bit harder. But if you kind of niche down to the kind of coaching that you're working with, I think, that makes it a little bit easier. But I think at the end of the day, it's really just staying clear on who you serve and that outcome that you deliver. And that is really going to help you stay relevant. That's what I got. So what do you think is going to help somebody stay relevant? Let me know in the comments below because I'm sure there's like a million different ways, but those are just a few that I think. So, all right, going to sign off for now. Ira Schofitter, Gas Stove Creative. And remember, if you're not online, you're not an option. See ya.